The office was traded in for that desk in the spare room, and maybe the conference room was traded in for the living room. And as some people return to the office, others have been allowed to keep working from home. And some are turning that into opportunity by working multiple jobs from home secretly. It's so-called overemployment. Have you heard about this? Because there's an entire forum dedicated to it on the discussion site Reddit with more than 150,000 members following. Just this year, Monster found 37% of American workers said they had more than one full-time job, citing income from one job as not being enough. So there are many questions here we're answering. What are the risks and rewards? How are people pulling this off, overemployment? And what are its effects on productivity and whether employers will eventually catch on? Economy correspondent Bianca Fascini takes a look.
Remote work is nothing unusual in this day and age. 3 years since pandemic lockdowns, Americans are still fond of working from home. In fact, they're willing to sacrifice pay to skip out on in-office work. Nearly 1/3 of workers, according to a survey by Robert Half, would take a cut of up to 18%. Numbers like those may be because of the practice you see on your screen: overemployment, or having 2 or more full-time, fully remote jobs at once. This is more than just a side hustle. Think logging into multiple meetings at once, using more than one work laptop, and pretending to be working a full workday for multiple companies. The trend has recently gotten increased attention, but the idea isn't necessarily new.
Overemployment came about because people were largely in the tech industry using employment as a way to get ahead of their finances. Some people were paying off school loans. Some people were paying down on their car or paying off their mortgage.
Mark Anthony Dyson is a professional career coach and founder of the Voice of Job Seekers, a career consulting service in Chicago. He says inflation and fears of layoffs are driving more Americans to take on multiple full-time positions. A resume builder survey of 1,000 fully remote workers found 79% of respondents were overemployed in the past year. About 30% were making 6 figures collectively. A separate Monster survey found the top reason people were overemployed last year was they felt they weren't making enough money in their main job. While the perks of making more money and staying remote sound promising, overemployment may also have some downsides. Career coaches say the risk of falling behind in either job are higher. And according to Dyson, juggling jobs in secrecy may also add unwanted stress.
Some employers are able to see whether you move away from the keyboard or not. There are others that just monitor the fact that you're working and that you're logged in and you're engaged with the team.
So how are Americans pulling this off?
I have something to recommend. It's called a mouse mover.
Take mouse movers or jigglers, for example. The small devices go under computer mouse and keep the cursor active without having to touch it. Others resort to premium keyboards and video screen and mouse switches, which allow employees to work from one desk and easily switch back and forth from devices. Dyson says employers' reactions to finding out their employees are overemployed are mixed, from some understanding the current financial situation to others firing workers. Like this viral LinkedIn post from last year, where a Utah-based software company executive wrote about firing 2 engineers for overemployment. Adding in his post, quote, "You're very likely stealing a job from someone who wants and needs it." For now, career coaches believe overemployment won't disappear, but eventually will evolve.
There are some instances where I've talked to job seekers where they were laid off, but then they were offered a contract to keep working. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily a trend for right now, but I think in the future that a large part of the work sector will become contract workers. And that will alleviate the employer of the benefits of employment.
Another twist to a workforce still unwinding from the pandemic. Bianca Fascini, Scripps News.
Some great information from Bianca Fascini.